What's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. Shout out to Mucinex Sinus Maximum Strength, baby. When I tell you it delivered me from evil, oh, yes. But your girl, Miss Honey, is here to do Married to Medicine. I am late, but this is season 8, episode 2, graduation snub. And I'm going to try to make this quick. I really am this time. So we are going to jump right into it. The party picks up where it left off, Damon's 50th birthday party. And there is this attempt to reconcile right there in the party in front of everyone with Heavenly and Simone, and then Simone and Jackie, or Jackie and Simone. Jackie and Heavenly with Simone. Like, I'm trying to figure that whole dynamic out. And Toya kind of blows up and walks off and goes over to the men's section and completely disturbs their peace and kumbaya at Damon's birthday party. Like, the disregard that Toya has for other people's feelings altogether is quite disgusting in my opinion. At the same time, I don't know if Toya is not the only person on this show right now that's keeping it real. I mean, we did have Quad kind of kept it semi-real. I think Quad was fairly honest, you know what I mean? And we don't really have her on a steady basis, so we have Toya. And Toya is, if nothing else, I think she's honest. She's oblivious, she's, obnoxious, and she's crass and all of that. But I think she's fairly honest, right? But she disregards people's feelings. She goes over and disrupts the men. And then Eugene has to take her out. He takes her to the party bus that they rode in, her, Anila, and Simone. And then Simone goes back over to the ladies after she walks off in a huff. And I do like what she said there at the end, right before she walked off. She said, why would I talk bad about my friend of 20 years, right? Like, to me, that just said a lot. And I came to this conclusion. I'm like, why is Dr. Heavenly in this? Like, seriously, if you are seriously trying to get these two back together, you would be working on Dr. Jackie, who's your close friend. Simone's never really going to be close with you like that ever again, because the things that she shared with you, you then weaponized it against her husband Cecil online for the world to see. So y'all, I don't care what y'all say, they never gonna be close, right? They gonna be cordial, they gonna keep it cool. They gonna get this paper, this bag, this Married to Medicine bag, this Bravo bag, and then that's gonna be it, right? But why is Dr. Heavenly inserting herself? Why is she crisscrossing her divide with Simone and Jackie's divide with Simone? It's two separate things, right? Your issue with Simone is one thing. Simone's issue with Jackie, even though it pertains to Jackie's friendship with you, still has nothing to do with you. Like, you should step back and say, girl, I'm not going to touch that. I don't want y'all not to be friends after 20 years. I don't want this. This isn't right. Yada, yada, yada. So let me let y'all talk. Let me let y'all, have this conversation. She keep inserting herself. Jackie don't really have a lot to say, which goes back to what people have said about Jackie using Heavenly as her mouth, to do all the dirty works. And that way she can look, elegant and professional and, reserved and conservative off to the side. Okay, so this was the party. Everybody decides to disband and leave. Anila was there to kind of support Simone. We then get to see Toya with her kids. It's a really, really good moment where she's trying to juggle being a mom, being a wife, staying physically fit. Her kids are in school, keeping them fed, keeping them educated. They schooling from home. They've changed schools. One of the reasons why she changed school, because in this racial climate, she wanted there to be a lot more conversation about Black Lives Matter. And when she looked around, she realized her children were one of counting on one hand that were of color in that school. It was a Christian school, but there weren't a lot of Black children. And so they didn't feel the need to have these discussions. And she had this open discussion with her children as to why they were changing school. I thought it was a really, really good moment. I really did. And it's what gives me hope about Toya, is seeing her with her children, right? Also, we get to see Contessa and Scott. They are going into practice together. They're building a office suite together. It looks like it's going to be really, really nice. Of course, it's the middle of a pandemic, so they've had these snafus. We also learned that they are still having some challenges in their relationship. And it's funny because they always kind of seem like they're cool, but at the same time, it's more buddy-ish. You don't really see a whole lot of affection there. So I tend to believe this storyline with Contessa and Scott. What is amazing to me about Contessa and Scott, as well as Jackie and Simone, these are highly educated people, right? They're doctors. And if you came to them with these same conversations and these same situations as it pertains to your health, they would tell you, get counseling. They would tell you, you got to work through this. They would tell you that having healthy, loving relationships with friends and family is beneficial to your health. But when it comes to them, they don't seem to follow that same advice, right? Like, they don't seem to follow that same school of thought. And it's just amazing to me that even the highly educated and type of individual can still have these emotional dry places where, the important things fall through the cracks, right? So he doesn't think Scott doesn't think counseling is necessary anymore. To me, that's an ego trip. And we see a lot of this heavy ego type we see him exuding a lot of this heavy ego type behavior, it's a little cocky, it's a little arrogant. I don't know. Like, we don't need counseling. I feel like we can handle it on our own. Well, no, you can't. You can't handle it on your own. You're not emotionally sound enough to handle it on your own. You're still petty and resentful, and your wife is still sucking it up and eating it and being passive aggressive about it, right? Just to keep trouble down until she finally blows up. And then when she blows up, then, she's cutting balls off left and right. Because Contessa is a mess when she blows up. When she blows up, boo. Okay, y'all do not want her to be mad around here. She is not playing the radio with y'all. So we get to see that. Then we get to see Dr. Heavenly at her doctor's office, and she's got Funky Dineva in there, and they're, keeping it real camaraderie-ish, and, like, they're not really good friends. I think he's on her blog like every other week, her vlog, YouTube vlog, like every other week or so. She's not oftentimes on his, but, I think he does his, like, from his apartment in Miami. And when he's in Atlanta, he hops on to her show. She's got a huge following, I believe, on YouTube. It's fairly good. I won't say huge, but it's fairly good. And, he's on the rise now. So these are opportunities. These are all opportunities, right? And it's just funny because when we see her in the office with these celebs or pseudo celebs, she has such a great bedside manner, and she's so professional, and she crosses every I and dots every T, and it's just really, really, really like an empathetic session with the patient, with the client. As you guys know, I did it on my vlog some years ago, went to Dr. Heavenly, and I didn't find her to be any of those things. She was dismissive. I didn't really have a lot to offer her. I wasn't interested in opening a care credit account to, at this large sum of money in order to get all of this elaborate work that she wanted done. She really didn't listen to what I had going on. And she didn't want to talk about the discount, even though she was advertising it on the goddamn radio everywhere. It was everywhere. Advertising, the advertisement for her dentist office, which is why I went, I don't know, like it was just a weird thing. And then after that, it was just a consultation. It was a free consultation, and she just rushed me out of there. It was so dismissive and belittling. Like, it was a terrible experience for me. I never went back. And you fill out all the paperwork when you first get in there with your email and your phone number and your text and all of that. And I'm telling you, for like a year and a half solid after that, they text me to remind me about my cleaning. I was like, why y'all reminding me? I have never had you do anything but consult with me. Check my mouth. Like, it left a bad taste in my mouth. So it's just funny, this whole setup here. It's mutually beneficial for both of them. And I would be shocked if he paid full price. Let me just say that, for those great teeth, those implants, I would be shocked. It's possible. Anila, we get to learn a little bit more about her. She has 2 kids, and a boy and a girl. Her husband is an ocular surgeon. I can't remember his name. They are Indians, like over in India, Indians. And she got in with the crowd because of Toya. Her and Toya live in the neighborhood. They're having their house built now during COVID, and it's a struggle because everything is kind of wonkus because of COVID. And she's a vlogger, like a lifestyles and fashion vlogger. Prior to that, she was in the corporate world. Devil Wears Prada is what she references. She worked for a high-end perfume company. She's a woman that's accomplished in her own right, but she's a mom first, right? And a wife. So we get to see her, and then we get to the piece de resistance, which is Michael, Cecil and Simone's son graduation. He graduates middle of the pandemic, so they're going to have a tailgating barbecue at Simone's OBGYN office. Now, mind you, Simone's OBGYN office is like a parking lot, a bush, and a parking lot separated from Jackie's OBGYN office. And I don't know if it's a Saturday or Sunday or what. I'm not sure. But to me, it is a tailgate, right? And they got ice cream truck, and they've got guys there barbecuing, and I don't know what else. It just looks like people were standing around and eating and stuff. It didn't look like it was a lot going on. But still, it's enough if you come out of your office and you look across the parking lot, you're like, oh, what the heck is going on over there at Simone's office, right? Like, anyway, we learned that Jackie was not invited. Now, mind you, Jackie delivered Michael, okay? They talk about it a little bit here, but we remember that if you are day one married to medicine, you know that Jackie delivered Michael, right? And it baffles me. It really does baffle me that they have allowed Heavenly, and I say that as a collective, Jackie and Dr. Simone, have allowed Heavenly to come in and wedge put such a huge wedge in between the two of them, which is why I side-eye this conflict. I side-eye this storyline. I said it last week. And if I get a little bit whiff more that this is a contrived storyline, and it is fake, and it is contrived by Simone, Jackie, and Heavenly, I'm done with Married to Medicine. I'm telling you, I'm done with it. You're not going to pee over my head and tell me that it's raining. That's what you're not going to do, okay? I don't like that bull crap. That's why I'm doing away with a lot of these reality shows. It just feels like something more is going on here, because you, my friend, for 20-something years, you delivered my son. Our offices are a stone's throw away from each other. They did a montage of just how close they have been over the years. They've been there step by step with each other through the deaths of their fathers. They found Simone's father dead somewhere. Okay? And found the body and had to identify. Jackie was the person that went with her through that, her and Quad. Okay? Jackie's dad had dementia, which in Alzheimer's, which is this slow, debilitating death. It is the erasure of the person, right? My dad has dementia. It was a very emotional season for me. Simone was there for Jackie through that whole period, right? It's no way you gonna take this type of closeness and then someone from the outside comes in and puts a wedge between the two of y'all like that. I just don't get it. Where you don't even extend the invitation to graduation. At the same time, I say to myself, look at how Simone has handled conflicts throughout this entire series. Not season, series. When she fell out with Mariah, right? It was at her suggestion and leading that they cut Mariah off, which is how Mariah got severed from the show. Her and Jackie, by the way. Okay, and then when she and Toya had discourse, it was like pulling teeth to get her to even go to Toya and try to have this reasonable conversation without all this yelling and rah, rah, rah. And, now we're seeing it with Jackie. So at the same time, this is why I'm on the fence, because this is how Simone handles conflict. Even with Cecil, she was just like, I'm divorcing you, I'm done, that's it. She's like a really black and white thinker. And it takes a lot for her to come to this empathetic place. I think she's an empathetic doctor, but because she doesn't have a lot of emotional needs, okay? Because she doesn't have a lot of emotional needs, she tends to cut people off fairly easily. Now, I'd like to see how it's going with Michael gone, with her youngest baby gone, right? Because then you have a lot more time on your hands when your youngest baby is gone. And for whatever reason, to me, the guys in this show, it's just second episode, but they're just coming off real lackluster. This is why I fell in love with Real Housewives of Atlanta and Married to Medicine. I love to see the husbands. I love to see the couples. I love to see the husband's perspective. When all of that was popping off early on in the episode with Heavenly trying to fight Simone, like it just got, my daddy used to call it a Brahma bull. The other Heavenly is a Brahma bull. You know what I'm saying? She just come in with horns first and just start tossing, people everywhere and stuff everywhere. But Dr. Damon said black people are under attack right now, really for the last 400 years, but plus. But he said black people are under attack right now. We don't need to be attacking each other. You know what I mean? He knows how to whisper into the bull's ear and calm the bull down. Then later on, when Jackie is talking with Curtis about not being invited to the graduation party, having delivered Michael and known him from the time she pulled him out of his mom's womb, He gives her nice, sound, concise advice. I want to see the men get together. I want to see more conversation. Cecil has become all but stifled. He had great conversation there prior to the tailgating party getting kicked off. He does a great job talking with Simone and the kids. But Cecil has I mean, their oldest son is looking a little rough, dry. Cecil not far from it. Cecil is not far from it. He's real lackluster. I don't know if it was the fight with Heavenly. I don't know if it's the loss of his job and then his business that he tried to start and all of that. I don't know. Cecil is losing something for me. But I just don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Do you think that this is a contrived storyline between Jackie? Jackie does seem genuinely hurt. And she does seem genuinely confused, which I don't know how you figure out the entire human body, systems, functions of a woman's body, but you can't see why Simone would be upset, right? But, this is what Jackie does. Same thing she did with Buffy. When she acted like she didn't know why Buffy was hurt about it. Like, how can you not know this? How can you not know this? How can you not know this? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, but again, we confuse book sense with common sense a lot of times, and a lot of times that's why we get frustrated with people. So I stand corrected. But that was a really genuine moment. Then we see the oddest scene ever, which is Simone in scene. Simone goes over to Heavenly's house, and Heavenly's kind of trying to give her the cold shoulder. Simone is acting like she really doesn't recognize it as the cold shoulder. And then we get, a consistent story from Simone about how she felt about the tweets and the relationship with Jackie. And then this weird story from Heavenly where she said that she felt like when Mariah attacked her last season or the season before last, I can't remember, that Simone got pleasure from it. So you purposely are driving a wedge because of that? Or that's why you attacked Cecil? Like, I was confused by that whole conversation, and it was news to me. Again, I think a lot of the reasons why Toya is rolling her eyes and looking crazy at this whole Simone Jackie situation is, I feel like, honestly, I'm just gonna be honest, I feel like Toya is calling it out. And that's why I mentioned about Toya being more forthright and honest than a lot of these ladies. I think Toya is calling out the bullshit. I think that's why the editing was weird when she was popping off last week at the party. And I think that's why all the ladies was looking crazy and acting like they didn't know, and they was just passing it off as she was drunk. I think she was trying to expose the fact that they are contriving this storyline. I honestly do feel like Jackie and Simone talk. I think they have decided, because of that Bravo bag, to make this their storyline. And they're both doing what comes natural to them, which is Simone keeping it, hot and fired up. Jackie acting like the wounded victim. And Heavenly wants to act like she wants to put it all together at the same time she's driving wedges. Right? I really feel like that's what's going on. So at this point, I'm just trying to prove myself wrong. At this point, each episode is just trying to prove me wrong, basically. I want to be proven wrong. I want there to be genuine storyline and genuine conflict. Otherwise, why are we here? Like, I could watch a fictional show. I don't have to watch where you guys have made up, because we get impassioned and we talk about it and we dislike this character and like that character, and based upon their behaviors. But if all the behaviors and the conversations are contrived, then what are we doing? We ask you men at this point, right? Y'all tell me what you think. Y'all put it down below. I'd like to know. I'd like to know what you guys think about this whole situation with Simone and Jackie. Like, How you don't, it's just send the invite. She come if she want to come. If she don't come, she don't come. She could come just to say hey to Cecil. The same reason you were invited and went to Damon's birthday party outside of it being someplace to film, right? Is the same reason why you would invite Jackie, so she could give Michael her gift, so she could have something to say about the fact that she delivered Michael and she's been your friend through his entire childhood. Okay. You invite her. You didn't even have to talk to her a lot at the party, but you still invite her. Like, this behavior, while it is kind of Dr. Simone-ish, at the same time, I'm not buying it with Jackie. Y'all tell me what you think. Y'all put it down below. And until next time, honeybees. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'll holla.